button. Yeah. Now it's going. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Father Patrick Griffin. I'm one of the Vincentian priests here at St. John's University. I work in the area of mission, and I serve as the executive director for the Vincentian Center for Church and Society. With Jennifer Manfredi, and with Julia Bonanno, our graduate assistant, we manage the Vincentian Chair of Social Justice here at St. John's. Each year, we bring to St. John's a scholar of national and international repute to speak to us and our larger community on some issue of social justice. This afternoon, we bring Tarsila Rivera-Zaya, who is a Quechuan activist from Peru and founder of the Chirapac, Center for Indigenous Cultures of Peru. Much more on her in a moment. But first of all, let me begin by inviting you to join me in an opening prayer. Then I'll explain the flow of our afternoon. And so, let us pray. Loving God, we come before you with praise and gratitude for all the ways in which you have blessed us in this big and beautiful world. We also thank you for the way that you've made us good women and men, and then called us to live that goodness through virtue and effort. Sometimes we've not responded well to your creative will. In many parts of the world and in this country, we don't treat our brothers and sisters as well as we might, and do not respond to the poor among us with the care, generosity, and justice which they deserve. Loving God, as we learn, we pray for these siblings, and we ask for a change of heart. Open our minds. Let us hear what is true and respond with the desire to see justice in our world and in our country. Strengthen those who work and suffer for the needs of others, and may their efforts yield results. We pray in particular, O gracious God, for our St. John's University community, a place where the minds and hearts of the young receive nourishment. May that nourishment include, in keeping with our Vincentian and Catholic tradition, a compassion and a willingness to promote the benefit of others. Give us ears to hear this afternoon, Lord, and bless the words of our guest speaker, Tarsila Rivera-Zaya. And we ask this through Christ, who came to save us from ourselves and guide us to a better way. And in his name we pray, amen. So let me quickly describe the order of events for this afternoon. So I have begun with a prayer. In a moment, I will introduce to you one of our adjunct professors, Pablo Sanchez. Pablo has been more than an instrumental factor in bringing Ms. Rivera to campus for us today, and he will introduce her. Then after our speaker has spoken for around 45 minutes, then I'll stand up or remind us that it's time for questions and comments. So I invite you to ask questions and make whatever comments you think are useful. But a microphone will be brought to you so that you can ask it and so that it can be heard by those who are live streaming. And then at around 3:15, I will return to the stage, so-called, and I'll bring our afternoon to a close. And so that's the order of events for this afternoon. And so let me introduce to you Professor Pablo Sanchez.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? There we go. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I am quite the alumni of St. John's in the sense that I've graduated 3 times from St. John's, undergraduate and 2 master's degrees. An alumni of the sociology department and as well as the Ozanam Scholars Program. And so it's a great honor for me to be back and continue being part of the university community. I currently work as an adjunct professor in the Sociology and Anthropology Department. Since 2012, I have worked on a community-led sustainable development project in Morona, Santiago, Ecuador, with Shuar communities in the Highland Amazon region through the Vincentian Institute of Social Action. So continuing work with the Visa in the Vincentian community. My full-time job is Associate Director of Data and Analytics for the Hunger Project. It's an international organization whose mission is to end chronic hunger through sustainable community-led development. It's through this work that I have the connection with Tarsila, whose work in Peru through her organization Chirapac, which you'll hear more about in a second, is part of THP's network of implementing partners. So a very brief introduction to Tarsila, and we could spend the whole hour talking about her life's work. Tarsila is the executive director of Chirapac in Peru. Tarsila is a Quichuan activist from Ayacucho and a global expert in human rights and indigenous peoples. Tarsila has devoted over 20 years of her life to defend and seek recognition and acknowledgement of Peruvian indigenous peoples and cultures. Her contributions have resulted in the creation of the Permanent Workshop of Andean and Amazonian Indigenous Women of Peru, the International Forum of Indigenous Women of the Americas, and the Continental Link of Indigenous Women of the Americas. She has served as a resource person to the NGO Committee on Indigenous Rights and has participated in forums in Nairobi, Cairo, Beijing, Durban, and in the United Nations Permanent Forum for Indigenous Peoples. As a child, Tarsila became a domestic worker in exchange for education, learning Spanish only at the age of 18. She founded Chirapac in 1985, initially to help Quichuan children whose parents had been murdered by Shining Path guerrillas. She has led Chirapac to become a leading agency for the rights of indigenous women worldwide. And with that, I invite Tarsila. Thank you. Yeah. Se lo pongo aquí.
Sí, voy a moverme.
Yeah, listo.
Good afternoon with everyone.
Good afternoon.
In Spanglish, English, Quechua, Runasini. Which one is better? Spanglish. I'm very happy to stay here, to see and speak with you. Thank you very much, Father and Pablo, for this opportunity. We are in the university. I have experience only in the University of Life. But it's very important for me to stay here and to be invited, because always we are talking between us marginalized. And thank you for your time. And I want to share with you in this first part that Chirapac is an indigenous organization. Is doing 40 years of life and is composed by indigenous peoples, men and women, originally from indigenous communities, and Andean and Amazonian. We call Andino-Amazónicos. In this case, we will talk about one of the important programs of Chirapac. It's related with knowledge, indigenous knowledge, women, sustainable development, agriculture, biodiversity and the impact of that, the impact on it or those by climate change. First of all, we will see the film, and after we will talk. Please prepare your questions, comments, and how I'm interested to know how will impact this film to you. Thank you.
Just quickly, so just some quick film notes and credits. So the film that you're going to watch now is a documentary film that was produced by Chirapac in 2022. It was also the winner in the documentary category at the 2023 Peruvian Short Film Festival. And a quick synopsis. The life and situation of indigenous peoples are defined by their access to water, around which bonds of brotherhood and knowledge are built between communities and Mother Earth. The original language of the film is Quechua, but there are English subtitles, and it's about 12 minutes long. Vamos a ver aquí. Sí.
Tal vez kaya na rayos imam stugera mo inaptin jay alto jay moto kumba ngam mo inaptin ay imam pasar mo rayos inaptin ga ya komanda hay na karo pikani ko ay mana mi kusanya ya chani nyaw pa kuna man tapas hari kar ham ya ko pero kuna nyata me cheki much kan kaya kuna kaya peo kalito ta plantaron ko ya ko cerca kuna pe los ojos de agua peruano pues para reservorio pero mana no hay exactamente no ya que chequisando si tiene ya que cancho es pichado copio que mante ya que vamos a bombeo para tiempo vamos dos veces a la semana pero que agosto septiembre octubre que ya llegamos a mana ya que para muy de que no tengo pues ya tengo semana pues apenas ya lo pone ahí para mana pachalo con esto se permite a mucho ni huerta tabasca de pues llegan ahí tapas magi pero ujiwan macam una hati nam pikar kunci jadi tiru kutempo miskai golpear waktu kuayo con atum con opening 12 años opening 11 años con warbi con opening ay kay waktu kay sasa gimana cakrai skap tempas nada catar pun kina achka waktu tu apa itu na ya imam mana itu bisin kita dari se nyuka ina ya kan kan ini imana mama imana juan wawanya tamu wagas ko imana mo iwan kan je wawai kuna Bamba y mamá y mamá cuántos no sé pero pas amron ni nothing mana ni hasta ni trigo con ni mamá escucha para hari span que no motis hak ni span mas ka hari span koplo chimpa kuna causa ini akan potera mo kachka pehari warma kuna multitap samkata kita kita nari hinam kachung manam kami kaino tap sarai kuna wata yusik manam multitap kachu sakpunya nyam katap. Yo fakta parahkan. Pero guys kita pernah tak cek kamu para semangkang ini jadi. Untuk beli tempat bukan itu tim aying kau saya yuk. Kunangnya tahu desi beli kurang tanya tarpon itu nanti mana yang lebih desi beli tanya para saya itu tarpon itu mana yang kau saya itu spesifiknya. Kasan pakai aja beli orang nanti cek ya orang nak kursi buat apa. Kayak iskay watanya mana nih para kanju.
Pinya dalam pakai aja pakai. Caki wanyu pakai wanyu sama tadi kayak nak cikli jauh ya sekali tiba aja pun. Tiba aja wan. Ya tuh ya sekarang jadi kalau kira-kira mungkin tuh mana pakai aku kanju kayak gini rupi mana jangan dia aku yang sekarang ikut pakai aja. Ini aja nih.
Mana ya kau ikan jinating nih. Mayu tak ini kau harap cikotar ta cucu hat tapi lalu ta. Iwa paskah ta cuci mikro itu pas baik kau mulawang mungkin asma mungkin kawai juga mungkin igwa. Cai karya kau ikut supaya kau mangkai kau tak pelak dari kau ta kau carong ni kau ta. Iya pang kelas itu tapi kau naik kau dengan supaya kau lihat kami kau nanti kami nolyan kayak mau daerah-daerahnya kami nungkai kau main masih kau Karo kacka ini, habis karuan ya ini karo terakap. Ayos nih kayak para tipo ba, ya pang naman kami mayo yun na kami mas pangpakapot. Sinapting ya ko tak na imbas kay mantan apalik ko ng harikikan ninyo pakalik mangka. So parang balik ko na imag bidong niya kang sinapting michay mang apalik. Tata apa niko pingkat ko nata tunas pingkat o bien sangkay kapte singa sangkay kichkan pa sumak lepi harus baik ko inapting chaywan chuyang inapting chaywan yan ko niko chaywan para tipo tuman kaya po parang nagkimba sa dyan balde pi icharo ni pinaspay kung sa balde mang icharo ni tingkat naspay ko rima naspay ko pero mana yung pa ita popuyat mga dyan laos ang dyan yung pa ita laos ang yarong mampas yung tingti laos naman dyan pa ay paktiya ang kaya ni ko ay kubitas pichang subi kucharong wams naspay ko yung kaya expande kaya ko ni pinating chay laos sa pingkang mang cuyatiyang ay pa kaspaps ukurato siya ni kulichian kung paputkarakan mga pera ni namang ninarong tipo na yakin ka hatari pa mga chay ta kucharong jang ka inapu paru ni tulpapinya papa y mama y mi mamá ya se hicieron papa y mamá se nos hicieron kukulia tierra y nos hicieron de chuecha porque sepa ahora más kuna mana ni chay gran anjari kusuanya pacha mama jigong ni ya pancik kuskanya ay kusawina tinanjik ya kumanta waira manta ya kumanta ya nyo pancik pa kuya pincik ta chay na yata ya na pa pincik ta suyachka pacha mama jik
Gracias. I'm born on that region. I'm coming from that people, from that women. Please, somebody wants to comment something about the film? No?
The issues with the lack of water, is that a recent phenomenon due to climate change, or has that always been the status quo in that region?
No. As you know, our people knows how change one season to other season in normal situation. But now we are suffering the extreme climate change because the traditional knowledge in the past, they know how, when will come the rain. When the animals are appearing, the small one, they know, it's coming the rain, or this is time, or that. But in, I think 10 years, the last 10 years, we suffer a very extreme change. And for example, this time, they put the seeds with good hope and praying for the rain. No. Rain came after 3 months, and it's late for the maize, for example. After that came not only not rain, came the, ¿cómo se dice? Helada, extreme cold. Or this, las granizada. And oh my God, everybody suffer because it's not only the production of that year or that period, it's the seed. We lose or lost the seed including, no? That is why for us, the discussion about climate change is very crucial and very important. We depend on the Mother Nature in the Andes and in the Amazon. When extreme rain in the Amazon, as you can see, the river come to our part. And what happened in the Amazon? The flood, roof, houses, everything. ¿Cómo se dice? Carry on everything, destroy everything. Many communities in the Amazon try to have PC granja, understand? Piscicultura.
It's like a fish pond.
Fish, yeah.
Agriculture.
Fish.
Fish farming.
Fish farming. And they are very happy because they will have that fish. But the extreme weather go with all the fish and everything. That's we call extreme. De un extremo al otro. So much or nothing. As you can see, we try to participate in the COPs, the Conference of Parts about climate change. They discuss each year what we can do, blah, 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 blah. We as indigenous peoples try to participate with our proposals from COP15. We prepare our process from regions in 7 geocultural regions as indigenous peoples. Latin America is one, North America is other. And we try to discuss what is happening, what kind of change we observe related with climate change. And try to go to that conference realized in Copenhagen, trying to say that we are impacted and we are not we don't produce that extreme climate. From that, more than 10 years or 13 years, each year we try to be listened. In France, we obtain the platform of indigenous knowledge. Try to have a place talking between scientists and indigenous knowledge to see the solution or to do something with this issue. After many years, we arrived to the conclusion that that is not solution, because the scientists said this is looking for other solutions. But we see the other solutions are not realistic, are false solutions. When appeared how do you say, the ecological combustible, canola, for example, in Brazil, they plant extensions of canola, monocultivo. In other parts of the Amazon, the oil, palma aceitera, palm oil. That solution was not for us. It's not appropriate because they took our land to business. That's why I arrived to the conclusion in Copenhagen, business, and business, like a festival of business. And we discussing. In Lima, in the COP Realizing Lima, we try to include the perspective of gender and climate change, how impact the climate change to women, blah, 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 blah. Until now, the last one was 28 COP in Dubai. Oh my God. Dubai, you see in the morning from the center, go to the conference, and you can see this volume of smog in Durban city. But you are going to discuss about climate change. And when you talk with the taxi driver, they said that taxis and automobile, we use petroleum, oil, not gas or not others. And in the conference are deciding all the oil companies, businessmen. That's one. The other thing is try to share the Green Fund, what is happening with the Green Fund, from where is coming, who decide about Green Fund. Green Fund is solution for us or not? We as indigenous peoples every year make the effort to participate in different scenarios and try to build the solidarity with social movement, women's movement. After I think 6 years, I obtained a place in gender and climate change constituency as indigenous. Now we have a place on that constituency, more than 5 years. But we can talk that what is happening with indigenous women and climate change related with feminist movement, because we try to build a bridge, solidarity, to push our recommendations. When you go to discuss about finance, big funds, billions, but where are that billions? We are very sure that billions will not resolve the impact of that died of Mother Earth. But billion and billion. Now we are borrachos, drunk. We are drunk with billion, including our leaders. That's a very, very conflictive and complex issue because the billions are dividing us. Nobody are talking about the low emissions. It's who will access, ¿está bien access? Access to that fund. Many leaders of Amazonian are talking about we have the right to receive that fund and make our proper economy. Yeah, maybe it's okay. What kind of economy is a risk? We will do the same activities than business, agro-business, or wood business, maybe? Terrible. And for women, my government said, oh, we will have a fund for indigenous women. From where is coming the money and how much? It's not significant, nothing. We prefer to resolve our problem with our traditional knowledge and practice. Chirapaj, in this case, are trying to recuperate the, ¿cómo se dice cosecha? Harvest of the rain in a very big pozos, pozos, and try to use in, how do you say, not try to keep the water, preserving. We will give 5 that kind of cosechas de agua, pozos con cosechas de agua. We take the rain and luego se llena en los pozos for agriculture or the small farm, for animals too. No? Using our proper resources, our proper fuerza de trabajo, work, and only trying to obtain some instruments that we need to work better. No? That's our solution. The other thing is trying to keep the seeds that resist to extreme climate change. For example, my people said, we observe that one kind of parasite is going up, and they eat the white flowers of potato. But we can see that they don't eat the purple flower of the potato. Observing, and they said, for next, we will put more purple color potato, not white, because resist. It's the same in potatoes, maize, and others. But the impact in indigenous women and peoples is related with our life, because we depend totally of the nature in the Andes and in the Amazon. In the Amazon, the principal protein are with the tree and is hormiga, ¿cómo se dice? The ant called Sikisapa. Siquizapa is a word, Quechua word, and means that this ant is big, big pompous, but it's the best protein for the Amazon, for children. And if no rain and the ecosystem change, Siquizapa absent. And if they cut the trees, no Siquizapa. That's why for us it's not the same that in the big discussion is related with our daily subsistence. They talk about biodiversity, blah, blah, blah. But what kind of biodiversity if the weather is very caluroso, hot, or is very cold? Everything change. When we discuss with our sisters from the Pacific, for example, or from Inuit from north of Canada, they are suffering in other way the same, because they live from the sea. What is happening with the animals of the sea? Disappearing or went far. The sisters from ocean or Pacific, what happened with the island? Will disappear or no water, no for it? The reality is terrible when you are not discussing about billions, no? That's why we think it's necessary to have the opportunity to be conscious about the impact in the resources, the non-renewable resources, because the ecosystem is changing and we are losing the biodiversity in over the world for food, for health, medicine, or others. Now, we said in the discussion in community, why the orange don't madura in the tree, now is fall down before to be fruit, and we need to talk with them and explain about climate change. And said, oh, now I know, it's not our problem, it's not castigo de Dios. Many times we think it's castigo de Dios. It's not castigo de Dios. Somebody is responsible for that. How we can convince to them that they have to think about that this is only the place for all of us. Todos somos solo de este mundo. If the world brain, ¿está bien? All of us will brain. With dollars, with no dollars, with machines, with everything. But they said that, oh, indigenous are thinking on cosmovision, on that. It's not scientific. We need to look fine for other metals. Now, lithium. What is happening with the exploitation of lithium in Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Peru, I think, lithium. That's why we talk principally about false solutions. And green funds are only, how do you say, entertainment. But how we can find dialogue looking for a common solution. Next COP will be in one country of East Europe, Azerbaijan, something like that. I can't pronounce that name. And the next one will be in Brazil, the 30. In Brazil, yeah, everybody's looking Lula, but the strong sector of Lula's party are agro-businessmen. They are looking that indigenous territory to exploit for new elements for to replace. That's our problem, my dear. I sometimes was invited to talk about fund for women, and I said, oh, here is everybody talking about the fund. Like we imagine that like in autumn, the leaves are falling down, and we have only to take the funds, but that is not solution. Our problem too is that we depend of solidarity or other funds to arrive there. We don't have the fund to work by ourselves and go independently to the COP and discuss or participate in places where they are deciding. We are observers. How the representative parties representatives are discussing. I follow up the food sovereignty group or agriculture group, trying to listen for where is the discussion. In this last COP, they had days and days without conclusion, because the positions of agribusiness, monocultivo, or other false solutions. They are going now to Bonn, 1 week more, discuss, and after we'll go to next COP, 29 COP. Many years. Looks like an entertainment. The important thing about this is that it's a possibility and place where you can listen others of the social movement. Each year is increasing the mobilizations of movements who are more critic with this process. And many multilateral or banks or countries promise to have millions, and we can access. We said, okay, who will access? We as indigenous peoples, we don't have possibility to access to the fund because the conditions, and intermediaries, many intermediaries. What is happening with us in the community? We need to resolve our daily substance and try to see what will happen after. But if they give us money to, for example, you have to enter in the market, you have to produce something for the market. But in the Amazon, for example, the people culturally, they don't have the practice to produce for market. They use what the Mother Nature give. We in the Andes come from civilization of agriculture. We know how to use, but in this situation with extreme climate, everybody said, now we are not understanding the advertising of the Mother Nature. Why? Because it's in disequilibrium. Maybe yes, maybe not. We can give pronostic. Yeah. And we don't know what will happen after 10 years. If the crisis continue and the COP will be 50 COP, we continue discussing about fund. I think it's necessary to make pressure about the low emission. And but low emission means that we need to assume as consumers changing the attitude of consume. And we as indigenous peoples discuss no industrial this extractive but we are using the cells, we are using the computer, we are using all of that. Those things come from industrial extractives, and we need to talk about the challenge of new proposals. But if somebody offer $500,000, $5 million to develop something, the consensus is broken. That's a reality. Because everybody needs fund. Now we are a society of money. No? 40 years ago, we were critical with funds for indigenous peoples. But leaders of that time, they said, we can't be independent movement if we are not free economically. It's real. Because each year we need more money. If at the beginning somebody gave me $10 a day, now they can pay the hotel. But in first years, I have to sleep in the sofa of a friend. Everything goes in the same road where others are pushing us. That's our responsibility. How we can be more critical and contribute more emission. And climate change is not a sophisticated discussion. It's what is happening each day. What is happening with our life. And what happened with, this year we listen many fire incendios. Chile, Brazil, Argentina. Why? And nobody said nothing. It's necessary to have reflections about that. No? I want your questions, comments, because in other case, liking code.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Can you talk a little bit more about gender and women specifically? ¿Puede hablar más de las mujeres y las niñas y esta visión de género que usted está trayendo?
Pero relacionado con cambio climático, we said indigenous women or women. In this case, you see who are looking for water, who are looking for food for the family. Women. When we don't have nothing to eat, the children are asking to the mother, not to the father, because the father went maybe to other part to look for fun, for money, working by jornal. And in this situation, the impact on girls or children are more extreme about food, first necessities, or, for example, to go to school. If it is extreme rain, they don't have the same possibilities. The education or school by internet is not common for all of us. The women are isolated. We have different impact. It's not very easy to talk only about, for example, in our proper, in particular life, but principally with our activity and with our responsibility. No? That's why extreme rain or no rain is the first one. But we need to be considered on the programs, what happened with food, with health. For example, the indigenous women who practice the medicine, traditional medicine, climate. If no rain, they don't have the medicine plants. And the impact is not only for medicine women, it's for the community, because it's the plants used for health. It's from one impact to others. Economically, yeah, they is worst because if we have activity to, for example, to sell some products, if we don't have products, we don't have possibility to sell or to obtain some basic money. And if no money and if hunger, what happened in the life of women in the relationship with a couple? Violence, because no solution. From one part, from other part, or the women always are in dangerous or in extreme situation of vulnerability, because in other case we can resolve in with our proper resources or capabilities. No. Now they are talking about the fund, green fund for development, economic development, blah blah blah. But for example, one family of the Amazon, they use the fruit of one tree to do the no, how does call necklace. And what is happening with this fruit? Is disappearing. Why? Because the tree is not producing the fruit. By Chinese are doing from plastic. In this case, for example, no tree, no fruit, no possibility to produce the necklace, no market, no income for women. It's always, ¿no? No sé si alguna manera contesté.
Quiero una pregunta.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? No? I'll just speak loudly, I guess. Okay. Thank you again for your presentation. My question is, you were speaking about solutions, and the reality is that there is extreme climate change, and you spoke a little bit about wells and reforming irrigation practices and extreme and seeds that are less vulnerable to extreme climate change. What other, can you speak more about what other physical adaptation solutions would be ideal if you had access to resources or the Green Fund, or if there was more support, what would physical adaptations in the communities you work with look like?
When we talk about our knowledge and practice, we need to be recognized and take account in places to develop programs, for example, for adaptation or mitigation. Now is the discussion from governments are adaptation, because the fund for adaptation. But in this process of adaptation, we don't want the solution and the programs come from up to down. We need to have the place where we can discuss and find a solution, based principally what we can do from the communities, and give more opportunity to develop, strengthen, or potentialize our proper capability. For example, in this case with cosecha de agua, not only 5, not only 1 for community. Maybe we need to discuss how we can use in better way the rainwater, no? Because we are with the good intention to find solutions. That's why always we said to is we don't want that you see us as a problem. We want to see us as a solution, because we were all our life there. Our ancestors, they survived. They developed knowledge and techniques. For example, in the Andes, we are planting traditional trees to preserve and to produce more water. But what is happening from outside? They put eucalyptus. The eucalyptus absorb all the water and kill all products around the eucalyptus. But we know, in Chirapa, we work that the recuperation of biodiversity for food and medicine. And we try to recuperate that traditional trees to preserve the water and give create microclimate, no? Because when the ice come, if you have this tree, protect the plantation. It's traditional knowledge and traditional practice. That's why if you want to invest and to look for a solution in the process of adaptation, okay, we want to contribute with that kind of knowledge and with our work. In mitigation, they think that we don't have knowledge about mitigation, but we have to, because for example, to maintain the quality of the land for plantation, we use the rotation of plants. This year you produce quinoa, but quinoa eats so much nutrients of the land, and next year you put another plant who with possibilities to enrich the land, and you look rotation. Normally, in the mountains and in the Amazon, we eat plants of de las estaciones. From seasonal, yeah. We eat flowers, for example. After a period of rain, we have yellow flowers. We know which one can eat. The herbs, no, prepare in our traditional process, and including keep the products for many years, like the drying the meat or other products. We think it's necessary only to have the opportunity to discuss between us and participate in the elaboration of the plan and program with us. And trying to be, because if you participate in that program, you feel part of the solution. In other cases, okay, the government is sending that, we took, and after nothing happened. It's the same with programs of nutrition for children. Oh my God, years and years, millions in assistance program, and malnutrition, anemia is high in the country where we have 4,000 different kind of potatoes. In the country where we have maize of different colors with very high nutrients. Why? Because the business, because the corruption, because they don't think that we have something to contribute in the solutions. That's the first. We need to participate in the elaborations of programs related with our lives. We have many instruments internationally, as we know, no? The ILO Convention 169. We have the UNDRIP, United Nations Declaration on Rights of Indigenous Peoples. We are included in the SDG 2030. We are trying to talk and participate in the discussion of development. In the region, we work very hard with regional systems. Related with women, we obtained 39 general recommendation of CEDAW committee, and we need that all of this go to the local and domestic level. But there is our challenge. Why our politicians and governors don't pay attention and implement all the advances obtaining in the international arena. That's our problem. Racism, discrimination, exclusion, corruption. We think it's not problem of fund, it's how they use the fund.
One more question. No, you may accept one more question.
Thank you so much for what you have shared. You spoke in the beginning that you were raised in you started in a region like what was on the movie, but now you are at a very different place, that you speak internationally. How did you go from there to this? What was that first piece where you realized that you needed to go outside of your your area?
Because I am butterfly. Flying from the community to global. No. I was monolingual and lived until 10 years old on that place. My mother decided that you have to learn how to read, how to write. I made
Found this on the web for Learn How to Write.
Okay. I made the primary and secondary school working as domestic. I learned Spanish and the Western cultures too suffer all kind of racisms, but I'm here. Because I'm coming from culture of resistance. And I'm coming from women like them, monolingual, but they know how to answer to critical situations because they know the context, no? And after at 21 years old, I finished my secondary school. I entered to work in an institution related with culture in Peru. And from 21 to 30, I absorb everything. I learn language, listen and listen. I love movie. I learn so much by movie. I love to listen people. I learn so much listen to others. My history, I said to historians in Peru, I don't know what was my history. And I said, why you don't write as a historian how our people develop the science of food or agriculture? Because we don't know. And I learned so much outside of the community. I transit from sector of poverty, extreme poverty, ignorant or discriminated to this part, but not with aggressive action. I try to listen. At when Chirapag, I founded Chirapag in 86. My region was object of terrorism during 20 years. The first peoples have to go out to preserve the life, my parents. We lost 86 principal leaders of the community on that war that was not our war. And in this context, we organized Chirapag to continue our culture, to continue the communication between elders and new generations. We are doing 40 years. I'm very happy. We build a process from local to global. Now, as indigenous women, we inspire from Chirapag, from this reality, the national organization where we were absent, but I learned so much from women's movement and from feminist movement. And we push the continental network where we are the three Americas, and after the global International Forum of Indigenous Women, where we are the 7 geocultural regions no? And we work articulated, but only from Chirapa we work in the community and up. When somebody asks like you, somebody said, Tarsila, you are a traveler because you are in the, one day in New York, another day in Geneva, and after you are in Pujas, my community, or Vilcas. I said, yeah, I need that because if I don't go to Vilcas, I don't have argument to talk in New York or to talk in Geneva. That's the reality. But I have dedicated 40 years from 80s to this process. Somebody said, okay, you live for this and you live from this. Yes. I decide that. I'm very happy. It's not easy. We have many problems, conflicts between us as all kind of movements. Not everybody think the same. Not everybody wants to support you, but it's part of the life, no? Yeah, I'm very happy to stay here, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Tarsila. You're a blessing for your people and for your country and for all of us who have the opportunity to listen to you and to learn from the things that you have to say. So there's another opportunity to listen to Tarsila. Some of us are having a dinner with her this evening, a very modest, simple dinner. If someone would like to join us, you must come up and ask me, okay? If you're not already, you have to come up and ask me. We've also recorded Tarsila's words, and so if you want to listen to this again or recommend it to other people, then we can see how that could happen. I'd like to thank again Jen and Julia for helping me to put this together, and also Pablo and Colleen and Laura, who are part of the team for planning this. So that's our time together. Enjoy the rest of your day. So long.